Welcome to the deep dive, a really compelling piece today. It's an excerpt from Rhapsody of Realities by Pastor Chris. And what jumped out at me, as we were prepping, is this bold claim about consistent fruitfulness and productivity. It's not just a nice idea, is it?
No, not at all. It's presented as, well, fundamental.
Right. So our mission today is basically to take the source and really unpack its core message. We want to look at what this consistent fruitfulness actually looks like according to the text.
And why it's framed as, like, a divine desire.
Exactly. And maybe most importantly, how you, the listener, might actually cultivate that in your own life. We're hoping to uncover some, pretty unique perspectives that might challenge how we usually think about success.
What's really insightful, I think, is how the source just completely redefines productivity. It's not just, worldly ambition, hitting targets through sheer effort. It frames it as an inherent spiritual quality, something deeply tied to your identity, your purpose. It's less about doing and more about being.
That's a big shift.
It is. And it raises a key question. How does that foundational shift maybe offer a more, profound or sustainable way to get results compared to, say, standard time management tricks?
Yeah.
And what does fruitful even mean beyond the everyday sense?
That's a great way to put it. So let's dive into that core idea first. The source material is, it's very clear. The main message seems to be God's desire for you, our listener, is to be fruitful, productive in every part of your life. It's presented almost like a non-negotiable purpose.
Yeah.
And the text says that as a seed of Abraham and a child of God, you're basically empowered to live this result-producing life. It really pushes back against just, getting by, doesn't it?
It totally does.
It suggests you're not here to merely exist, but actually make an impact and bear lasting fruits. I mean, that's a pretty significant claim. It flips the script from just coping with life to actively shaping things with lasting effect.
Absolutely. And that identity piece, seed of Abraham, child of God, it's crucial here. For listeners maybe less familiar with this specific background, the source is tapping into biblical ideas of covenant spiritual lineage.
Right.
It implies you've inherited a kind of blessing, a divine mandate for success. It's suggesting this isn't just a nice metaphor, it's a spiritual reality that gives you a specific kind of power.
Okay.
And connecting this to the bigger picture, the source uses some powerful biblical quotes to back this up. It mentions John 15:16, where Jesus says, "You have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you that you should go and bring forth fruit and that your fruit should remain."
That your fruit should remain, lasting impact.
Exactly. And then John 15:8, "Herein is my Father glorified, that you bear much fruit, so shall ye be my disciples."
Okay, so being fruitful glorifies God and shows you're a disciple.
Precisely. And that language, chosen, ordained, even though it sounds a bit historical, it carries this weight. Fruitfulness isn't something you just decide to aim for yourself. It's presented as a divine assignment you're picked for. So these verses suggest it's not just personal gain, it's reflecting your purpose, glorifying God. It makes it fundamental to being a disciple.
Right.
It implies you're kind of chosen for this, which really elevates it beyond typical self-help productivity ideas. This isn't just about hitting your goals, it's fulfilling a divine plan.
That distinction feels really important. It's not about working harder to become fruitful, but operating from a place where you're already chosen, already empowered for it. So if it's this divine call, this core purpose, what does that actually look like day to day? What I found interesting is the source doesn't keep fruitfulness just in a narrow religious box.
No, it broadens it right out.
It explicitly calls it a spiritual quality that extends to every good work. That's key, isn't it? It's not just about church stuff.
Right, breaking down that sacred-secular divide.
Yeah. It includes practical things like soul winning, which, usually means sharing faith, but also your career, your relationships, your service in God's house. And it even says, and more.
So pretty much everything.
Pretty much. It's holistic. It means wanting to excel at work or nurture your family, contribute to the community, grow personally, all that can be seen as part of this divine fruitfulness. It weaves the sacred into the everyday.
It really does. And that broad scope challenges us, to rethink where we expect to see God's influence. It's not just in church, but everywhere, which leads to the big question.
Yeah.
How do you actually achieve this consistent, broad spectrum fruitfulness?
Yeah.
The source gives a key, which is actually profoundly simple but powerful. Walking in the consciousness of your divine nature. It suggests this consciousness makes productivity your default setting, your lifestyle.
Your lifestyle.
Yeah, removing the need to, quote, struggle to succeed. It implies this internal shift has to happen first, and that dictates the external results. It's about knowing who you are deep down, not striving for what you think you lack.
That sounds, well, radically different from the usual hustle culture message, where success is always this uphill battle.
Completely different.
Instead, it's about operating from this internal identity. But how does that consciousness work? And this is where I thought it got really interesting. The source links this power directly to Christ in you, stating it naturally produces excellence, wisdom, and increase. It says, quote, Christ in you guarantees a life of ever-increasing fruitfulness and productivity. That sounds less like fighting for success and more like having this internal engine that just works.
Well, the implication is profound. It offers a very distinct take on resilience, on success. The source presents Christ in you, not just as like a theological idea, but an active living principle inside you.
Okay.
It suggests this interconnection makes your ideas flourish, makes your efforts stick, because you're drawing from this internal well of divine wisdom, divine ability. It's not about working harder, maybe, but working from a different source of power.
A different source.
Yeah. The text even goes so far as to say, even when others fail, you succeed, and even in tough seasons and austere times, you flourish.
Austere times, like difficult economic periods.
Exactly. Hardship, scarcity, general difficulty. The source claims this interconnection gives you an edge that overrides normal circumstances. Yeah. Like you're connected to a higher power, playing by different rules. It's like having this internal, endless supply of resources, insight, strength. That means you thrive no matter what's happening outside. It's not just positivity talk. It's claiming an inherent, unshakable capacity for success that comes from within.
So your ideas are guided, your actions are empowered.
That's the suggestion, that they produce results that maybe define normal limits.
That paints a picture of incredible inner strength, like a built-in success engine. But okay, even with that, how do we make sure we keep growing, keep getting better at yielding this fruit? The source points to something else, something crucial and practical. Knowledge.
Yeah, it's another layer.
It states it pretty clearly. Fruitfulness and productivity increase with knowledge. So it's not just about this inner state, it's also about learning, about growing.
Yeah, it connects the spiritual and the practical.
And specifically, it mentions the more you grow in the knowledge of God, the more effective and productive you become. So it's not just any knowledge, is it? It's a specific kind of knowledge, understanding your spiritual foundation, that connection.
Exactly. It suggests a targeted learning approach that directly boosts your fruitfulness capacity.
Okay, so how do you get this knowledge?
Well, this leads straight to the practical advice. Therefore, feed on the Word. Meditate on it. Educate your spirit with the Word and watch your life move from glory to glory.
Feed, meditate, educate.
Right. This focus on consistent engagement with the Word, meaning the Bible, the Scriptures, is presented as the direct path to getting better, more productive, more effective. It's not just spiritual comfort food. It's active spiritual education with real-world results.
What does feed on the Word imply exactly?
Well, like eating consistent daily intake. Meditate means really thinking about it, letting it sink in, shaping how you see things, and educate your spirit. That suggests it's deeper than just head knowledge.
A transformation.
A transformation, yeah. Influencing your inner being. And this process, the source says, leads your life from glory to glory. That phrase isn't just poetic fluff. It implies continuous upward progress in every area, a journey of increasing insight and practical success, not just hitting one peak and staying there.
Constant improvement, increasing effectiveness.
That's the idea. Perpetual advancement, experiencing more blessings, more impact constantly.
That image of constant progress is powerful, and the source uses that vivid analogy from Psalm 1, doesn't it? Verse 3. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. That's beautiful imagery, but what's it really telling us about this kind of fruitfulness?
It's such a potent analogy because it links spiritual nourishment directly to, well, natural life. Think about it. A tree by rivers has a constant water source, always there.
Right. Not dependent on rain.
Exactly. It doesn't rely on unpredictable external factors. This steady supply lets it thrive. Its leaves stay green, shall not wither, and it produces fruit consistently in his season. The key is the source, the rivers. That symbolizes the constant abundant supply from the Word, from that divine connection.
Okay, so being rooted in that knowledge.
Means your life is consistently supplying. You thrive regardless of the seasons or external pressures. It's not about avoiding challenges, maybe, but having this inner resilience, this resource that makes you immune to their worst effects. This tree doesn't struggle to make fruit. It just does naturally because it's plugged into its life source, which connects right back to the earlier idea that Christ in you naturally produces excellence.
It becomes an effortless outflow.
That's the picture. An outflow of your identity and your sustained knowledge, not forced effort. And notice the end. Whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. That extends the guarantee beyond just spiritual things to, well, everything you undertake.
Wow, that is a compelling vision for living. So, wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you, our listener, as you think about your own life, your goals? This deep dive suggests that consistent fruitfulness and productivity in this view goes way beyond just working hard or smart planning.
Yeah, it's presented as this divinely intended way of life, fueled by an inner awareness, that consciousness of your nature, and by constantly, actively engaging with what the Source calls the knowledge of God, or the Word.
We've seen how it's not just about one-off successes, but this sustained, impactful way of being that should touch everything: career, money, relationships, service.
And the Source really emphasizes, doesn't it, that this isn't supposed to be a grind you force. It's described as a natural, even guaranteed result of Christ in you, like an inherent supernatural power driving success and keeping you resilient, even when times get tough.
So here's a thought to maybe leave with everyone. If consistent fruitfulness truly stems from recognizing this internal state, this divine nature within you, and from deliberately feeding on the Word, what might actually change in your day-to-day approach? What kind of expectations might you start having for your own results, your impact, if you really embrace the idea that your fruit is designed to remain? That's definitely something worth mulling over for yourself.
Absolutely. A really provocative thought to sit with, one that could spark some new expectations and actions in your life. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive today. We really hope you'll explore these concepts further, see what insights might emerge for your own journey towards consistent fruitfulness and that lasting impact.
For more information on how you can grow spiritually using Rhapsody of Realities, please visit our website, www.rhapsodyofrealities.org, or you can also visit rin.rhapsodyofrealities.org/salvation. Thank you.